So here's what came out today, and honestly, when I saw this, I had to read it twice just to make sure I wasn't dreaming. The full Arsenal squad is back in training at London Colney. Not some of them, not most of them, all of them. Gyokeres, back. Jesus, back. Martinelli, back. Mosquera, back. Havertz, back. Odegaard, back. Rice, back. Saka, back. Saliba, back. Gabriel, back. Mikel Arteta confirmed it himself. Everyone is focused. Everyone is sharp. The mood at the training ground is described as genuinely happy. Players are energized, the sessions are intense, and the whole squad is locked in and ready to go. Now look, I know some of you are going to say, it's just training, calm down, and fair enough. But think about what this means in context. We have been managing this squad for months, rotating, being careful, protecting players, and now everyone is available. This is not small news. This is massive. Let's break down each return and why it matters. Let me go through these names one by one, because each of them returning is significant in its own way. I don't want to just give you a list. I want you to actually understand why this matters. Victor Gyokeres, the one we've been talking about all season. Okay, Victor Gyokeres. Where do I even start with this one? You probably already know the transfer talk around Gyokeres, and Arsenal has been going for months now. Fabrizio Romano has been tracking this one very closely, and everything points to Arsenal being seriously interested. He's been linked to the Gunners as Arteta looks to add a more physical, powerful striker option to the squad. But right now, in the context of today's training news, his name appearing alongside the Arsenal squad in training is interesting. Whether he's training with the first team on a trial or evaluation basis, or whether there's more to this story, I'll be honest, the details are still developing. But his name being in that group at London Colney is something I'm watching closely. Let me explain why Arsenal would want a player like Gyokeres in the system. Arteta's system needs a striker who can hold up play, bring others into the game, and also score goals consistently. That profile, powerful, clinical, good in the air, works hard for the team, is exactly what Gyokeres brings. At Sporting CP, he has been absolutely electric. Goals, assists, pressing, the whole package. The question Arsenal fans are asking is, does he fit above or alongside Jesus? And honestly, I think he fits as the #1 option with Jesus rotating. He gives the attack a completely different dimension. Is there a risk? Of course. Big money signings always carry risk. But from a football perspective, the fit looks good. Do you think Gyokeres is the striker Arsenal have been missing? Drop it in the comments. Gabriel Jesus. Quietly important. Now, Gabriel Jesus. This is a player who doesn't always get the loudest chance, but honestly, he does so much work that you don't see on the highlights reel. Jesus coming back is important for a few reasons. First, he gives Arteta options. When you have Jesus available, you can rest Havertz, you can change the shape, you can go more direct or more fluid, depending on the opponent. Flexibility is huge at this stage of the season. Second, and this is the thing I want to highlight, Jesus works for the team. He presses. He creates space. He makes the people around him better. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, they all benefit from having someone like Jesus in the forward line making intelligent runs. The fact that he's back in full training and looking sharp is genuinely good news. Don't sleep on this one. Gabriel Martinelli. The energy we need. Martinelli is one of those players who just changes the energy of a game when he's on the pitch. You feel him. The defender feels him. The whole stadium feels him. When Martinelli is fit and confident, Arsenal's left side becomes one of the most dangerous areas on a football pitch in Europe. He drives at people, he doesn't give defenders a moment to breathe, and he contributes goals and assists consistently. His return to training is a big boost, because honestly, without him, we look a little predictable on that left side. Now Arteta has that pace and directness back in his options, and that changes everything for the attacking plan. Mosquera, the wild card. Now here's one that's going to get some debate going in the comments. Mosquera, young, talented, and, let's be honest, still a bit unknown to a lot of people outside of the more hardcore Arsenal fan base. But Arteta has clearly seen something in this player. You don't bring someone into your training setup unless you see potential, and if he's been confirmed as part of this group heading into the weekend preparation, then something is being built here. For me, Mosquera represents the kind of squad depth Arsenal need as they chase titles. You need players who can come in and do a job, players who understand the system, players who are hungry because they haven't had everything handed to them yet. Is he ready to start big games? Maybe not quite yet, but having him fit, available, and developing within this environment. That's exactly how you build a proper squad culture. Are you excited about Mosquera's potential, or do you think it's too early to get excited? Let me know. Kai Havertz, the man who has silenced his critics. Oh, Kai Havertz. Remember when he signed for Arsenal and half the internet was convinced it was a disaster? I remember the reactions, the memes, the "what are Arsenal doing" takes everywhere. Well, how's that working out now? Havertz has been one of the most important players in this Arsenal squad. The way he plays in that false 9 or number 8 role, contributing goals, pressing like a machine, linking play intelligently, has been genuinely brilliant to watch. His return to training is absolutely critical. Without Havertz in the lineup, Arsenal's press loses something. The movement in and around the striker position becomes less unpredictable. He's the kind of player that defenders find difficult to plan for because he doesn't stay in one place. Fit Havertz going into the run-in, that's a massive advantage for Arteta. Martin Odegaard, the captain, is ready. Now we get to the big ones, and Martin Odegaard is about as big as it gets for Arsenal. When Odegaard is fit and playing well, Arsenal are a completely different team. He is the heartbeat of this squad. The way he receives the ball in tight spaces, turns, and plays the pass that unlocks defenses, it's genuinely special. It looks simple when he does it. That's how you know it's elite. His return to training is probably the single most important news in this whole update. Because when the captain is back, the whole team shifts, the confidence lifts, the passing gets crisper, the ideas on the pitch get sharper. Fabrizio Romano has been tracking Odegaard's fitness situation closely, and everything points to the Norwegian being fully fit and ready to go as Arsenal head into the final stretch of the season. That is exactly the news Arsenal fans needed. I'll say it plainly, Arsenal with a fit Odegaard are title contenders. Arsenal without him are still very good, but they're not quite the same. The difference he makes is enormous. Declan Rice, the engine room returns. Declan Rice, the most expensive signing in Arsenal's history at the time he joined. And has he been worth it? Every single penny. Rice has transformed the way Arsenal play. He gives the team balance. He covers the defense when the fullbacks push forward. He wins the ball back quickly. He plays it simply when needed and drives forward when the moment is right. He's a complete midfielder. Having Rice back in full training going into the final months of the season is massive, because Arsenal need that midfield engine room firing perfectly if they're going to maintain this 9-point lead and actually get over the line. And here's what I love about Rice. He brings a winner's mentality. He demands the best from himself and from those around him. You need that kind of character when things get tight in the title run-in. Bukayo Saka, the irreplaceable one. Okay, Bukayo Saka, my guy. The man who makes everything work on that right side. When Saka is fit and running at defenders, Arsenal are genuinely one of the most exciting teams to watch in European football. He creates chances, he scores goals, he wins penalties, he makes intelligent runs, he tracks back and defends, he does everything. And honestly, when he's been unavailable or not fully fit this season, you can feel it in Arsenal's performances. The right side looks a bit more predictable. The creativity dips. The danger decreases. But now he's back in full training and Arteta has confirmed he's ready. That means that right side of Arsenal's attack is going to be absolutely flying again. Let me ask you this. Is Saka the most important player in this Arsenal squad right now? Because I genuinely think you can make that argument. William Saliba. The wall is back. William Saliba. You know what? I'm going to keep this one simple because Saliba doesn't need many words. His performances speak for themselves. He is one of the best center-backs in world football right now. Not in the Premier League, in the world. The composure, the reading of the game, the ability to carry the ball out from the back, it's all elite level. When Saliba is fit and playing, Arsenal's defense looks absolutely solid. When he's been missing or carrying knocks, you can see the difference. The back four just doesn't look quite as settled. Him being confirmed back in full training is like Arsenal getting a clean sheet before the game is even kicked off. That's the level of confidence his presence brings. Gabriel Magalhães, the leader at the back, and alongside Saliba, Gabriel, the Brazilian powerhouse who brings both physical presence and leadership to that Arsenal backline. Gabriel and Saliba as a partnership is genuinely one of the best center-back combinations in European football right now. They complement each other perfectly. Saliba is the composed, technical one. Gabriel is the aggressive, physical, will not let you past me one. Both of them back in training, both fit, both ready for the weekend. Arsenal's defense is going to be very difficult to break down. Section 3. The table situation and what this means. Let's talk numbers for a second, because numbers don't lie. Arsenal, 70 points, 21 wins, 7 draws, 3 losses. Manchester City in second, 61 points. That is a 9-point gap with games running out. Do you understand how significant that is? City would need to win every single game and hope Arsenal drop points consistently just to have a chance of catching up. And now Arteta has his whole squad fit and firing. Let me put this into perspective for you. Arsenal have dropped points here and there this season, draws, the occasional loss, and they've done all of that while managing an injury list, while rotating, while protecting key players. They've been doing it the hard way. Now imagine the version of Arsenal that's fully fit, fully focused, and coming off a positive international break with everyone available. I'm not trying to jinx anything. I've been an Arsenal fan long enough to know that things can always go wrong, but I'm also not going to pretend that this squad situation doesn't represent a genuine opportunity. This is the moment Arsenal fans have been waiting for. The Southampton match and why it matters more than people think. Okay, so the next fixture coming up is the visit to Southampton. And I know some people are already saying, it's Southampton, relax, easy 3 points. And look, yes, on paper it looks like a match Arsenal should win, comfortably. But let me give you a different perspective. This is the first game after the international break. Players are coming back from different countries, different time zones, different coaching setups. Some have played, some haven't. The rhythm isn't always perfect immediately after an international window. And this is exactly why having everyone back in training early and settled at London Colney matters so much. Arteta can run proper sessions. He can work on shape. He can drill the press. He can make sure the combinations are sharp before match day arrives. Southampton away is a game Arsenal need to win cleanly. Not just because of the points, though the points are everything right now, but because of the confidence and momentum it brings. You want to go into the next big match having put in a clinical, professional performance. And with this squad fully available, there's no excuse for anything less than 3 points. Fabrizio Romano has noted that Arteta's squad management has been one of the key reasons for Arsenal's consistency this season. The rotation, the trust in the squad, the culture at the training ground, it all connects. And right now, that culture looks absolutely positive. My honest analysis as an Arsenal fan. Right. Let me be real with you for a minute because I think it's important to be honest rather than just hyped up all the time. Am I confident that Arsenal can win this title? Yes. More than I've been at this point in any season in a long time. The gap is significant. The squad is deep. The manager is one of the best in Europe. And now everyone is fit. But am I fully relaxed about it? No. And I'll tell you why. 9 points is a big lead, but it's not an impossible lead to lose if Arsenal have a bad run of form. The fixtures coming up include some tough ones. Manchester City away is still on the schedule. Big games where points can be dropped if focus slips for even a moment. What I need to see from Arsenal in these final weeks is something very specific. I need to see them handle success. I need to see them take care of business in the games they're supposed to win. No dropped points against teams in the bottom half. No, we looked a bit flat today performances. Because the team that wins the title isn't always the most talented team. It's the team that stays consistent when the pressure builds. It's the team that doesn't let their guard down when everyone is telling them the job is almost done. Can this Arsenal squad do that? I believe they can. Arteta has built that mentality. Rice brings it from the dressing room. Ødegaard leads it on the pitch. Saliba and Gabriel hold it together at the back, but they still have to go out and do it. So let me ask you, are you confident or are you still nervous? Because I think if you're a proper Arsenal fan, you're probably a little bit of both right now. What happens if Arsenal win the title? Let me take you somewhere for a second. Let's say Arsenal go on this run. They stay consistent, they handle the pressure, and on a Sunday afternoon in May, they are confirmed as Premier League champions. What does that mean? It means the end of a 21-year wait. It means Arteta's project, which was mocked, questioned, and doubted at every step, is vindicated completely. It means the rebuild from the bottom works. It means trusting a young Spanish coach with no previous managerial experience at top level was exactly the right call. It means Saka lifting that trophy. It means Rice celebrating in red and white. It means Ødegaard, the quiet captain who leads without noise, holding the Premier League trophy in his hands. For the fans who have been there through the dark years, the sixth-place finishes, the early Champions League exits, the manager who stayed too long, this would be everything. And honestly, it would send a message to the entire football world, because Arsenal haven't just stumbled into title contention. They have built something, properly, from the foundations up. That's what makes this so special, if they do it. The bigger picture, what Arteta has built. I want to spend a moment here because I think sometimes in the excitement of day-to-day news, we forget to step back and appreciate what is actually happening at this football club. When Mikel Arteta arrived at Arsenal, the club was in a really difficult place. 8th in the table, no clear identity, no direction, players who didn't look like they believed in what they were doing. And slowly, frustratingly slowly at times, he started building something different. The first full season was about belief, getting the players to trust the system, trust the manager, trust each other. You could see glimpses of something developing even when results weren't perfect. Then came the FA Cup win, the first trophy, and suddenly the players understood what winning felt like under Arteta. Then the famous Emirates atmosphere started coming back. The results improved, the performances got sharper, the transfer strategy started to make sense as Saka emerged, as White came in and transformed, as Rice arrived and immediately elevated the whole midfield. And now, here we are, top of the Premier League, 9 points clear, full squad fit. A manager who has the complete trust of his players and his board. Fabrizio Romano has consistently reported that Arteta's relationship with the Arsenal board is very strong and that the manager has significant input into recruitment decisions. That alignment between the coach and the club at every level is not something you can underestimate. It's a huge part of why Arsenal have been able to build consistently rather than in panicked bursts. This is a project, and right now, that project is about to deliver its biggest moment. The squad depth question. One thing I want to address because I think it's important. Arsenal's squad depth this season. Last season and the season before, whenever Arsenal had a little injury crisis, you could feel the squad getting stretched, options becoming limited, Arteta having to make do. This season feels different, and today's training news is the perfect example of why. Look at that list of players back in training. Now think about the fact that even with injuries this season, Arsenal have maintained their position at the top. That tells you something about the depth that has been built. You have Havertz and Jesus competing for roles. You have multiple options in midfield. You have attacking quality that can hurt teams in different ways. And you have Gyokeres potentially adding another dimension at the top of the pitch. This is not a team that relies on 2 or 3 players to carry everything. This is a genuine squad, and that matters enormously in a title race where you're playing twice a week at certain points and the physical and mental demands are absolutely brutal. Arteta has always talked about building a squad, not just a starting 11. And today, looking at that London Colney training session, you can see exactly what he means. Questions I want to leave you with. All right, before I bring this home, I want to put some questions out there. Because honestly, these are the things I'm thinking about, and I want to know what you think too. Question 1. With the full squad available, what is Arteta's strongest starting 11 right now? And does he have tough decisions to make in attack with so many options? Question 2. Gyokeres. Summer signing or future signing? Do you want him at Arsenal? And if yes, who makes way in the attacking positions? Question 3. Is 9 points enough? Or do you still have that little bit of Arsenal fan paranoia in the back of your mind that says something could still go wrong? Question 4. What does Arteta need to do differently in these final games compared to what cost Arsenal the title in previous seasons? Is it the same squad mentally, or has something fundamentally changed? Question 5. And this is the big one. When Arsenal win the league this season, and I'm saying when not if, because I believe it now, who is the player you most want to see lift that trophy first? For me, Saka. No debate. Drop your answers in the comments. I genuinely want to read them all. Section 10. The final stretch and what we need. Okay, let's talk about the final stretch of the season, because this is where legends are made. This is where you find out what a team is really made of. Arsenal have a run of fixtures coming up that will define whether they actually convert this lead into a title. Yes, they have the gap. Yes, they have the squad fit. But the games still have to be played and the points still have to be won. What do I need to see? I need to see Arsenal start strong in every game from now until the end of the season. Not complacently, not relying on being better than the opposition, actively going after games from minute one with intensity and purpose. I need to see Odegaard dominating games the way he did in his best spells earlier this season. That creative control, that ability to find space and connect everything. When he's doing that, Arsenal are almost impossible to stop. I need to see Saka on that right side making defenders absolutely miserable. When he's in that form, confident and sharp, the assists and goals come naturally. And right now, he looks like he's coming back from the international break refreshed and ready. I need to see that Saliba-Gabriel partnership at the back conceding absolutely nothing. Clean sheets in the final weeks of a title race are worth their weight in gold. You don't need to win 4-0 every week. Win 1-0 and keep it tight, take the points and move on. And I need to see Arteta stay calm, because he will. He always does. That's one of his greatest qualities as a manager. He doesn't panic. He doesn't make wild changes when things get difficult. He trusts his system and he trusts his players. With everyone fit and ready, I honestly believe this is Arsenal's moment. Let me leave you with this. So here's where we are. Arsenal, top of the league, 9 points clear, full squad back in training. Every major player confirmed fit and focused. Arteta looking at his squad and seeing everyone available for the first time in months. The Southampton game is coming, then more games after that. And with each week that passes, the title gets closer and closer. I've been an Arsenal fan through the thin years. The years where we finished outside the top 4, where we watched other clubs celebrate, where we wondered if we'd ever get back to where we belong. This feels different. This squad feels different. This manager feels different. This moment feels different. And I'll tell you something. Whether you're an Arsenal fan or not, watching this team right now, fully fit, fully motivated, chasing history, that is worth watching, because they are doing something special. So Jesus went on the Rio Ferdinand Meets podcast recently, and he was refreshingly honest. No PR talk, no dodging questions, just a real footballer speaking his mind about what Arsenal are missing and why the title keeps slipping away. And the main thing he said, it's not tactics, it's not fitness, it's not even quality, it's experience. Think about that for a second. Arsenal have some of the most talented young players in world football right now. Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Martinelli, Declan Rice. This squad is genuinely special, but talent and winning mentality, those are two very different things. Jesus knows this better than anyone. He spent years at Manchester City. He was in a dressing room with players who had won everything. Premier League titles, Champions Leagues, cups you can barely count. And he said something that really stuck with me. He said that after City won their first title together, everything became easier. The second one, the third one, it got simpler. Not because the games were easier, but because the players already knew what it felt like. They knew how to handle pressure. They knew how to close out a title race. They had been there before. Arsenal haven't been there. Not this generation of players. The young squad problem, is it really a problem? Here's where I want to push back a little because I don't think youth is the full story. Yes, Arsenal's squad is young. Yes, most of them have never won a Premier League title. But does that automatically mean they can't? Liverpool won their first title in 30 years with a relatively young squad. Leicester did it with players nobody expected anything from. So youth alone isn't the issue. What Jesus is really talking about is something deeper, and that's the moment your mentality shifts. That point where you stop playing to not lose and start playing to win. That switch. And apparently Arsenal haven't fully found it yet. The Wolves game in February is a perfect example. Arsenal were top of the league. Wolves were rock bottom. If there was ever a game that should have been comfortable, it was that one. And they drew 2-2. Now in isolation, that's just a bad day. But Jesus talked about how that kind of result gets into your head. You start asking questions. You start second-guessing. And in a title race, that mental spiral is dangerous. City never had that problem in their peak years. And that's what Jesus wants Arsenal to develop. Arteta under the microscope. Let me be honest, I have so much respect for Mikel Arteta right now. Think about his situation. 3 consecutive seasons finishing second in the Premier League. A Carabao Cup final loss earlier this year. 3 years of the fan base saying, "This is our year," and watching it fall apart. That would break most managers. The criticism, the pressure, the whispers about whether he's actually good enough to get Arsenal over the line, it's relentless. But Jesus defended him strongly, and this part of the interview actually moved me a little. He said, imagine what's going on in Arteta's head, carrying the weight of the entire club, the entire fan base, all those expectations, every single season. And still showing up every day, still believing, still pushing. That's not a small thing. And for what it's worth, Fabrizio Romano has made it very clear that Arsenal's hierarchy have not even entertained the idea of sacking Arteta, full stop. The club back him completely and plan to give him serious money in the summer window. That tells you everything about how the club sees this situation internally. So while fans outside are calling for changes, inside the Emirates, they believe in the project. What Jesus said that no one is talking about enough. Everyone picked up on the experience angle of Jesus' interview. But there was something else he said that I think is even more important. He said the players need to take more ownership on the pitch, not the coach, the players. He said Arteta gives them the tactics, he prepares them brilliantly. But once that whistle goes, it's on the players to make decisions, to communicate, to be vocal, to lead each other. And reading between the lines, Jesus is basically saying, Arsenal's players go a bit quiet when the pressure builds. They look to the manager, they look to the system, and instead of trusting themselves and each other, doubt creeps in. Now think about that compared to what he described at City. You had 10 or more experienced winners in that dressing room who were commanding, players shouting instructions, organizing, demanding more from each other, leadership flowing naturally across the pitch. Does Arsenal have that right now? Honestly, I'm not fully convinced they do. Odegaard is the captain, but he's not a screamer. Rice leads by example. Saka is quiet. Gabriel, the defender, is vocal at the back. But who else? This is a real conversation Arsenal fans need to have. So what's the fix? This brings us to the summer. And this is where things get very interesting. Jesus' words weren't just a diagnosis. They were pointing toward a solution. Arsenal need experienced winners in that dressing room. Leaders who have been in title races before and know how to drag a team through the difficult moments. And Fabrizio Romano has been dropping some massive hints about what's coming. First of all, Romano has confirmed that Arsenal will sign a new striker and a new winger this summer. That's not a rumor. That's Romano saying will, with capital letters, basically. The forward line is getting rebuilt, and given how this season has gone, with Jesus himself still working his way back from injury issues, that makes complete sense. On the striker front, there's been talk of João Pedro from Brighton being available. Romano flagged this. He's Premier League ready, knows the league, and Arsenal are among the clubs monitoring him. He's not the flashiest name, but sometimes the right fit matters more than the big name. There's also been noise about Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad coming in to strengthen the midfield. Multiple top journalists, including Romano's network, have gone strong on this one. If that deal happens, Arsenal are getting a midfielder with Champions League experience, a player who knows what big game pressure feels like. That's exactly what Jesus is talking about. And then there's the Sandro Tonali situation. Romano confirmed Arsenal have genuine interest in the Newcastle midfielder. Now, Tonali is expensive. Newcastle reportedly won around $100 million, and it's not at an advanced stage. But here's the thing. Tonali has been through serious adversity in his career, came back from a lengthy ban, and is now one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. That kind of character, that's leadership. That's exactly what Arsenal need alongside Rice and the younger players. Now the one that got everyone talking, Kvaratskhelia from PSG. Look, I know Arsenal fans want him. He's unbelievably talented, he's consistent, he's been brilliant this season with 11 goals and 7 assists across all competitions. But Romano shut this one down very clearly. PSG have no intention of selling him. Zero. He only joined them in January 2025. He's signed until 2029, and they consider him untouchable. So let's not waste energy on that one. Arsenal need to look elsewhere on the left side. The bigger picture. Is this Arsenal's year? Let me give you the cold, honest truth here. Arsenal are in a genuinely brilliant position right now. Coming back from the international break, they're well placed at the top of the Premier League. They've shown they can compete with anyone. The squad is deep, the manager is sharp, the belief inside the club is real. But every year we say this, and every year something happens. So what makes this time different? Maybe nothing changes. Maybe they fall short again and we go through another summer of close, but not close enough. Or maybe, just maybe, Jesus is right. Maybe this is the year that Arsenal finally break through. And if they do, watch what happens after that. The mental barrier comes down. The pressure releases. The younger players learn what winning actually feels like. And then, just like Jesus described at City, suddenly the second title is easier to chase than the first. That's the snowball effect. And Arsenal are right on the edge of starting it. Quick question for you. Drop your answer in the comments. Do you agree with Gabriel Jesus? Is it purely experience holding Arsenal back, or is there something else going on that the squad and the manager still need to fix? And what position do you think Arsenal need to prioritize most this summer? A proven striker, a left winger, or a big personality leader in midfield? Because I genuinely think the summer business will tell us everything about whether Arteta has truly learned from these near misses, or whether we're setting ourselves up for another heartbreak. Final thoughts. Gabriel Jesus didn't have to say any of this publicly. He could have given the safe, boring interview. We're working hard, the team is ready, we believe in each other. You know the routine. Instead, he spoke truth. He told us Arsenal are young. They haven't been in this position before, and that winning the first one is the hardest part. And somewhere deep down, every Arsenal fan knows he's right. The city of Manchester took years to become a winning machine. It started with one title, one belief, one moment where everything clicked. Arsenal are chasing that moment right now. This summer, with the right signings, experience, leadership, hunger, Arsenal can build something that doesn't just challenge for one title. They can build something that wins multiple. But first, they have to win this one. Come on, you Gunners. Let's finally do this.